Hey, welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today I got for y'all a tier list ranking the NFL coaching hires going into the 2025-26 season. So this tier list isn't really going to be who I think is going to be the best coach or who's really going to win the most games coming out the gate. It's really more situational, what I think the coaching hires means to that organization and if it was a good fit. Really ranking kind of the fit, how I feel about the coaches. It's just an excuse for me to kind of yap about the coaches and whatnot. And I've been meaning to do this video, but we have the combine coming up in about 2 weeks. So off season really gets started here soon. Free agency coming up. A lot of things to talk about. Going to start like a news segment. Let me know what y'all think about matter at hand. Is that corny? Matter at hand? I think that's just kind of tough. All right, here we go, though. Let me center myself here. Yeah, that's about the center. All right, so let's kick things off. Yeah, I agree. Let's kick things off. We got Aaron Glenn. We're giving Aaron Glenn a B. Actually, no, we'll put him in A. I'm gonna put Aaron for the Jets. Yeah. Aaron Glenn's an A, and I'll tell you why. I have Aaron Glenn being an A because what's the Jets' biggest issue? The reason why Aaron Rodgers was such an appetizing concept to the fans and the organization and just everyone. I think they were Vegas had them winning the division maybe like a week plus before the season started. I know like a few days before the season started and went back to the Bills, but it was the Jets. It was like a fan favorite dark horse pick for a reason. That defense, they have a lot of good pieces at elite positions, receiver. They had some people on the D-line. You got Quentin Williams. You know, you kind of had a guy at every level. C.J. Mosley in the middle. Then you had Sauce back when he was prime Sauce. You know, I'm sure he'll bounce back, but you get what I'm saying. And that kind of fell apart. Kind of felt like due to culture. It did feel like, and I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, right? So it's kind of hard for me to get this out, but it did feel like he sucked the life out of the room over there. Like all the things where the media crushes him all the time, he didn't really do himself any favors optically. And I think that changes with Aaron Glenn. He's a former player, so players are going to respect him. You see with these former players, there's just that mutual respect that someone like Mike McDaniel might not get. You know what I mean? He's giving out fines for people coming up late. Not sure if he's really well respected over there in Miami. In New York, they've been a joke for a while. So get a guy that's no nonsense. He's coming from the Lions, recent winning organization, winning formula over there. And their defense, when they weren't hurt at full strength, he had them boys rocking. So now the playoffs kind of showed a little bit of weakness in his game. I'm not sure if it was a lack of focus due to assembling his coaching staff and just doing the interviews and being worried about, you know, where he should go, even though it kind of felt like he was a shoo-in for the Jets job. It just felt like he fit like a glove. I just think he adds that to the Jets. And we've been seeing the super offensive guru type guys. Like it hasn't really been working out too crazy. You got Shane Steichen over there in Indianapolis, not working so well. Miami, Mike McDaniel's kind of like a one-win wonder. My guy, Brian Daboll, he's on the hot seat. Kevin O'Connell, Kevin O'Connell's good. But we've been seeing a lot of promise from these more CEO type head coaches. You see Dan Campbell with the Lions, Dan Quinn with Washington recently, defensive guy, culture guy. More, you know what I mean? Things are kind of more siloed in terms of, look, Kingsbury, you got the offense. Look, you got this. I'm gonna lay the hammer down in the locker room. We're gonna set the culture right. Who else? Nick Sirianni. They just won the Super Bowl. He was quote unquote on the hot seat because it was like, what does this guy do? But he's kind of perfect for Philly. Sometimes that's just what you need. I think the Jets have that with Aaron Glenn, once again, former player. He was drafted by the Jets, but just a funny note on him, he was actually he was poached by the Texans in the expansion draft. If you don't know how the expansion draft works, when we get a new team, every team has like you can't touch them, untouchables, right? You claim those players and they're excluded from the draft, and whoever else gets put into that draft. I think it was like the Texans and who else? I don't think it was just the Texans. But anyway, that's the only reason why he got off the Jets. So he wasn't good enough to be claimed like an untouchable, but he was good enough to get selected by the Texans. Came a Texan, former DB coach. So, we'll see what the Jets do in the draft. Clearly, they need a quarterback. They're done with Aaron Rodgers. That's another thing. It seemed like he sucked the life out of the room, and immediately he lays the hammer down. He says, hey, man, that Pat McAfee shit, get that shit out of here if you want to stay here. Get that weak shit out of here, which I don't really agree with. There's some other stipulations, some other things that Aaron Rodgers had to agree to. That was just the one that made all the headlines. I kind of disagree with it, but I get the point. We want like a full commit from you, which I get. And I think if it wasn't for all of his antics, that wouldn't have been brought up. But it was like, look, we're not going to piece it together. We want all this shit gone. We want you locked in and focused in this new regime. And that's what boosted to an A for me. All right, Ben Johnson up next. The Bears. Oh, shit. I feel like a boomer. Ben Johnson, S tier. Ben Johnson, top coaching candidate. Seems like a perfect fit. Caleb Williams. See, the Bears, they confuse me. They confuse a lot of people if you've been paying attention. Or if you're not a casual NFL watcher. We were all questioning, like, what is Matt Eberflus still doing here? Like, we know he's a lame duck coach. Like, I don't remember who was in that cycle last year when Caleb Williams got drafted, but this was a disaster waiting to happen. And, hey, they had the season that they asked for. They got the season they deserved, not pairing him with just a new everything. I mean, look what they did with Jaden Daniels over there. Look what D'Amico Ryans was able to do with C.J. Stroud, and he's not even on the offensive side of the ball. I felt like it didn't make any sense keeping Eberflus. Overall, just a confusing situation, but it seems like they're making it right. Ryan Poles, they're making it right. And we got to remember with the Bears, they only had 4 picks last year. They had the 2 first-rounders. I think they had like a second and then like a fourth, or like a third and a fourth. Rome Odunze, Caleb in the first. I think they got – what did they get with the next pick? Maybe a tight end, but I know they got a punter in the fourth, and that was it. So let's see what they're able to do with way more draft picks and see what they piece around Caleb Williams. And Ryan Poles just have to do a better job drafting. Like right now, it seems like they probably should have went tackle instead of Rome Odunze. It was touted as the best position we've seen, or the best situation we've seen for a rookie quarterback, because of the weapons. Even before we were thinking, okay, they're going to get a Odunze, even though he was mocked there often. It was like, you already have weapons. You have Cole Kmet, you have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore, and he took an ungodly amount of sacks. A lot of that was due to him holding on to the ball for too long. But this is why you pair him up with Ben Johnson, good offensive mind, and the top coaching candidate for a reason. Now, I think they should go get a tackle, go protect them. But if Ben Johnson could kind of duplicate what they found success in over there, I think they already have like a good amount of pieces. They're not missing a lot. The big thing is they don't have that top 2 O-line that Detroit has. And that's, one of the weakest parts of the Bears right now. So either way, I also like the coaching staff that he's building up. I think they got the Saints old host OC. Is it Dennis Allen, I think? There's defensive coordinators. Yep, Dennis Allen. And some of these coordinators are just better in their role as a coordinator. Sometimes being a coach is just too much for them. And they're just better in their individual role where it's like, look, this is all you have to take care of. Just do your job right, and we'll get this ship going. So, but Ben Johnson, perfect. Give Caleb Williams an offensive guy and unlock that true potential. And, Jaden Daniels, the ghost of Jaden Daniels, and that best rookie season we just ever seen is still going to be over him. Still going to be a dark cloud, but make it right. All right, next. Ben Schottenheimer, right? Same Brian. That felt wrong. Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm giving this a B. I did the thing again. I'm giving this a B. I don't think this is as bad of a pick as everyone's making out to be. It's a very Cowboys pick. I just think the process is terrible, which makes the pick look worse. But you got to remember, this is the guy that was there for Dak Prescott's statistical best season. You could argue he should have won that MVP over Lamar Jackson. I thought he should have. You go look at the numbers. But, he was the offensive coordinator for the past 2 years for the Cowboys. He was definitely a big part of that. When you have Dak healthy and you have Micah healthy, you saw how this team, even Austin, he had pipe dreams of Travis Hunter when they were really looking at their lowest point of the season where it was okay, they might pick in the top 5. I told him, I'm like, bro, your team is too talented. You guys are not picking. You guys are not getting Travis Hunter, bro. You guys aren't getting Travis Hunter. But they're in a position to get Ashton Genty, which could be cool. But either way, Schottenheimer, it kind of feels like a lateral move, so I get it. But they're acting like this guy's just like a nobody. About 15 years ago, he was in Ben Johnson's shoes. He was a new hot shot around the corner because of his dad and what he was doing with the team that he was with back then. But, he's a former QB. He actually has a natty as a backup for the Gators in the late 90s. But what do you expect, man? It's the Cowboys being the Cowboys. And I like the coaching staff they're building up right now. I think they're going to be fine. I think the talent that they have, he's familiar with the offense. I like the move a bit. I just wish the process was a little bit better and it wouldn't look as bad. But overall, I think the Cowboys are going to be really good. Even a slight change up for Mike McCarthy might be the boost that they need. And I think the move is overall overblown. And hey, who they get? Cowboys defensive coordinator. Eberflus. Speak of the devil. So you got Eberflus over there. I'm not sure if he's going to be calling plays. We're going to have to ask Austin about that one. But I give it a B. I like it. All right. Kellen Moore. Sorry, I turned into going out, and I haven't seen her in forever. All right. Kellen Moore, C. So the reason why I'm giving Kellen Moore a C is because I just think I don't know, just something about him. It's a vibes thing with him. It's a vibe thing. I've never been that big of a fan of the guy. I never really understood. I think he's an example of these offensive gurus that I think it's not really going to work out. Now with the Saints job, they have no money. They have no cap space. Their talent, they're kind of depleted. It's a lot of old heads over there. Shout out to Cam Jordan. Shout out to Alvin Kamara. Fuck with y'all. But the Saints are in this perpetual win now mode, which is real strange. Derek Carr, mid. Spencer Rattler had moments, but overall pretty underwhelming performance from him. But back to Kellen Moore. I remember when he was with the Chargers, that offense wasn't shit. That offense was weak. That offense was weak as hell. And then when Brandon Staley gets fired, he has the opportunity to be an interim coach, and he declines it. Now, I've seen conflicting reports on what happened. It seemed like they knew they were going to go in a different direction, but why is that? If he's so good, why are y'all so proud? Obviously, Harbaugh, you have a chance to get Harbaugh, cool, but was that known back then? You know what I mean? I think the offense looked mid. The offense with the Cowboys was like, okay, we know the Cowboys are top heavy. I guess you didn't really mess that up. And it seems like Jerry was interested in bringing him back. But who knows? Maybe they would have just rocked with Schottenheimer even if the Eagles weren't in the Super Bowl. But either way, so even if the Chargers were like, look, we don't want to make you the interim coach because you're not getting the job after this regardless, or he declined it because he didn't want to ruin his future prospects, like job prospects, it's not a good outcome to me either way. Either way, it's like, I don't know. You don't have that dog. You have Justin Herbert. You don't want to see what you could do as a head coach and show, you know what I mean? He just doesn't have that dog. And Liam Cohen's been getting all this shit for being awkward. The media I've seen from the Saints, he don't seem like a leader of men to me. He looked like a coordinator. He looked like a quarterback coach. He looked like a guy that's supposed to be in the cut. Like, he looks like a guy that's supposed to be in the cut. So he's losing some points for me based off aura alone. And I haven't been impressed with anything I've seen from him. Like with the Eagles, I'm pretty sure it was the players that had to be like, they knocked on the door. Hey, we need to hand the ball to Saquon some more. And what Austin was saying about his time with the Cowboys was he kind of gets stuck in his ways and gets away from the run. Well, that kind of aligned with those reports, the players kind of being like, yo, we have a beast back here in the backfield, like feeding him the rock. So we give him credit to Kellen Moore for the Super Bowl victory. How much credit is Kellen Moore getting for the Super Bowl victory, man? I'm not buying it, man. I don't think this works, but at the same time, with the Saints, the reason why it's not a D is because who wanted to go there, and what are you supposed to do over there? The silver lining is that division's super winnable, so it should be a quick turnaround once they do get some cap space, if they hit on some draft picks. But is he the guy? Like, do I see him coming out on top and beating out like Dave Canales and Todd Bowles and what was that, Raheem Morris over there in Atlanta? I guess that wouldn't be too hard, I guess. But I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing it, to be honest. I'm not seeing it. C. He's my only C today. All right, next up, Liam Cohen. I'm giving it a B, man. I don't know what has he shown us for him to be on some Ben Johnson save a quarterback type time with Trevor Lawrence. And look, I'm not taking much from the press conference because when Dan Campbell came out with biting kneecaps or shit, we looked at him like, yeah, he might be here for like 2 years. And then Nick Sirianni had a terrible first press conference, was just like, just bad optically, bad audibly, like terrible first presser for Nick Sirianni, just won the Super Bowl. So if you could coach, you could coach. We're not asking you to be a politician, so I don't really care that much about it. But wouldn't you have preferred Ben Johnson? And the fact that, I don't know, the whole situation's weird. I think the Bucs need to stop bitching because it's at will employment. Like if he starts to be trash, or if the offense took a dip and he was like the scapegoat for, let's say, a season where y'all didn't make the playoffs and you guys are like sub 500 or something like that, then he's out the door. So stop bitching about that. But if it's true that he was being super wishy-washy about it, I mean, if you look at his history, he bounces around a bunch. He's been in like coaching. coached at like 5, 6 different colleges, different positions in the NFL. So he's liable to jump around. But Bill Belichick did the same shiesty shit back in the day, right before joining the Patriots. So I don't know. He's kind of an unknown, but I just have no reason to really put him at an A. Why? Because he's the newest hotshot offensive coordinator? I mean, shit. All right, like the Bucs offense was looking great, but Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer and Baker Mayfield's #1 pick. And that team has just been good for years. Like, once again, this comes down to how much credit are we really giving him for what he's done? What has he shown us? Why should I look at him like this top tier coaching guy? And if I'm taking points away from Kellen Moore off aura, he can't be an A. He has to be a B. Liam Cohen, he gets a B. Mike Vrabel was close to giving him an A. I put it in the S tier. The reason why I bumped him from an A to an S is because I was looking back at what the Titans did. Now, if you don't know what the Titans did, if you're new here, and what I remember was like, yeah, they made the AFC Championship and went against the Chiefs. That was dope. That was dope. I've talked about at length how I felt like they had a great identity between just having just freaks at all the skill positions, right? They had Derrick Henry, King Henry, he's a freak. A.J. Brown, now he has a ring. Guy's a freak. He's a freak. Jonnu Smith just had a bounce back season with the Dolphins. He's a freak. And you had all these guys, and none of them are on the team anymore. You trade away A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks, and A.J. Brown has more. Y'all, I mean, point being, Titans clearly don't know what they're doing. Don't know what they're doing. They just fired their GM, who had like a year or two maybe. But now you have Brian Callahan that you just brought in. Now he has a new GM. It doesn't seem like anything from that time period they did right. Everyone went on and flourished wherever they're at. I think Mike Vrabel, someone who took this Titans team to an AFC championship with Ryan Tannehill, and then that next year, 2020, 11-5, one and done in a while, but they're 11-5. 2021, they were the 1 seed in the AFC. They were the 1 seed in the AFC, bro. And then his final 2 years there, they were sub 500, but they weren't like top 5 draft picking teams. They were just like 7-6 wins. So I'm just going based off, like, last time I checked, he was a good coach. He was a damn good coach. And now you give him Drake May? Shit. Might be curtains. Might be curtains. If they could find their A.J. Brown, Ramondre's no Derrick Henry, but he's a good back. He's shown that he could be a workhorse back. Maybe add another guy there. You have, someone decent in the slot there with Pop Douglas. But they could – that's what I'm saying. Maybe you get Ted McMillan, Arizona. Might be the move. Seeing comps that he's like a T. Higgins type. So that might be the move. And I think the Patriots could do some damage. I think they could get farther, and we could take them more seriously than we do the Dolphins right now in division. So I'm giving them an S for being quick to be like, all right, this Gerard Mayo, yeah, we had this in works for years, but look, we're just going to pivot and go to the better option. If you ask me, Mike Vrabel or Gerard Mayo, this is a business. Ain't no feelings in this. Yeah, we promised you this, that, and the third, but you weren't that good. You weren't that good where your job was just safe. Yeah, get him out of here. We got a kid here in Drake May. Let's maximize this rookie contract real quick and get a guy that share again. That's crazy. I was going off. Hopefully the whole thing isn't missing. I was going off. I'm going to have to listen back to around the 24-minute mark. But yeah, anyway, Yeah, man. Vrabel's a S. Vrabel's a S. Willing to pivot. Lots of success with Tennessee. And what was Ryan Tannehill after that? Nothing. He's probably the only one out of the skill positions that I named that ended up. I mean, he's not in the league no more. And if he can't be in the league no more, right? Whatever. All right. Last up, Pete Carroll. I'm putting Pete Carroll in the S tier. Yep. Didn't expect that, did you? I got Pete Carroll in the S tier because I think it's the perfect guy to go with this Raiders franchise right now. I think he's the perfect guy. He turns lemon into lemonade. He wins everywhere he goes. And they need some structure. They need some structure in here. And they want structure because they gave John Gruden that 10-year contract and the emails got leaked or whatever, but they wanted some stability there, right? You go from that. You have the Rich Bisaccia guy after Josh McDaniel, which Josh McDaniel was just a terrible pick, but that was that Tom Brady. You got to get over that Belichick tree, man. You got to get over that. Shit doesn't work. It doesn't work. But Josh McDaniel, disaster. Okay. Now they wanted Rich Bisaccia or whatever. The players are mad about that. Then they brought in I think I have it backwards, actually. Let's just look into it. I think I have it backwards. Ah, damn, bro. Yeah, Gruden. Then they had Bisaccia. Right. Now I had it right. So Gruden, Bisaccia, he gets taken out the mix. The players really wanted him. Then they get Josh McDaniel. Then Josh McDaniel's out of there. They get Josh McDaniel out of there. Players hated him. Just not a good coach. We'll see what he does with Drake May over there in New England. I don't know how he keeps landing new positions. Like, what the fuck? What does he have on the league? But Josh McDaniel doesn't work out, and they listen to the players. Antonio Pierce, interim head coach, just like Rich Bisaccia, and it was cool for a little bit. All the players that was rallying around him, they're gone. Josh Jacobs went to the Packers. Devontae Adams seems like he hated him on the way out. Max Crosby talking about he requesting a trade. So that didn't work out. And it's just been a coaching carousel over there. You got somebody who's really passionate about this football thing, and Pete Carroll. He's really passionate about it. We know he's passionate because he's like 80 years old. And when he got fired, which he got, it was a mutual departure. When he got fired from the Seahawks, his closing presser was like, it was like he's damn near interviewing for other teams. He was ready to get back to work. This guy is football personified. He's 73. He's football personified. His first gig was when he was a graduate assistant back in 1973, bro. He's been coaching ever since. Man. We are in the 2020s. So I think he'll add to the culture. I think he'll solidify the culture over there with the Raiders. I think he's going to be able to convince Max Crosby to buy in. And when you have a guy like Brock Bowers, who could, he's on, there's no reason if he stays healthy, he won't be like a Hall of Fame tight end. He should be able to break some records at tight end. You have a pretty decent wide receiver core with Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. And you need to improve your running backs, but the O-line ain't bad. It's like middle of the pack. You add a couple pieces to that O-line, all you need is the quarterback. AOC hasn't been terrible, but he's a backup. I mean, he's the reason why you're picking at 6 right now. If it was Gardner back there, you might be in the top 3. But as soon as they get a quarterback, they're going to be straight. And where was Russell Wilson drafted? They got him in the 3rd round. They got Marshawn Lynch in like the 4th round. And so, you know, I could see the Raiders tapping into that Seahawks Legion of Boom bag and padding this defense. You have Christian Wilkins there in the middle next to Max Crosby, Trevor Moehrig, and you got Jack Jones, I think, back there. You have some like decent pieces just spread out through the roster. Get Pete Carroll there, coach them boys up, and his presence, his love for football, and just all that knowledge, all that wisdom, that football IQ is going to permeate through this organization. I really believe in him. I think it was the perfect pick because you might not have the quarterback right now, but Pete Carroll's going to have a long leash. So this is like a long play move, and I think it's the perfect fit for him. And just to give you an idea how I did this tier list, for an example, if the Bears got Pete Carroll, it'd probably be like an A. It'd be like an A-. And vice versa, the Raiders got Ben Johnson, it'd be an A. It'd be an A-. Because it's the fit. Like, I just think, like, the fit matters when it comes to these coaches. I might like the coach, but is he a good fit for that situation? You know, there's a lot of factors that go into all of this. So that's the tier list, though, man. That's the tier list, though. I got 3 S's. I really like the coaches that were hired. And even with the one that's in C, it's the Saints. So what are you supposed to do? Like, who are they supposed to get? If you're a good head coach, you're not trying to go to the Saints. So we'll see what Kellen Moore does with Derek Carr. I don't believe in it. I think it's kind of like he's going to be the coach until they get – it's going to be like the Drake May situation, except he might get some years until they get him. But if they get that guy – man, get this Kellen Moore kid out of here. Now it's time for us to get serious. We actually have money now. So, yeah, let's do something about it. But, yeah, that's it for the video. Like I said, lots of off-season content coming. About to tap in. It's about to be March. Combines coming. Matter of fact, like and subscribe and all that.